Hello, welcome to Poetry Mini Lesson Number 1. Today we'll talk about stanzas and rhyme in poetry. Here's a nice little poem entitled I Never Saw a Purple Cow by Gelett, Burgess. I never saw a purple cow. I never hoped to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Here's a purple cow. Well, maybe it's violet, but that's close enough. One of the first things you can do while analyzing a poem is decide whether the poem is traditional or non-traditional. Traditional poetry has rhyme and meter. We'll get to meter in another class. Non-traditional poetry has no rhyme and no meter. But what is rhyme? Rhyme is the repetition of a sound or sounds at the end of a word or a number of words. In our poem, we have the repetition of the sound ow in the words cow and anyhow. We also have the repetition of the sounds E1 in the words C1 and B1. So our poem has rhyme, which would make it a traditional poem. There are different types of rhyme. One question to ask is where the rhyme is. There's end rhyme, which is at the end of the lines of the poem. There's also internal rhyme, where the rhyming sounds are inside the same line. There are also three types of end rhyme. Masculine rhyme has one sound rhyming in the words. Feminine rhyme has the last two syllables rhyming in the words. And triple rhyme has the last three syllables rhyming in the words. Let's take a look at the poem again. I never saw a purple cow. I never hoped to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Well, the syllables cow and how rhyme, and they're at the end of the lines, so that's end rhyme. There is one syllable that rhymes, so that's masculine. And the words C1 and B1 are also at the end of the line, so that's end rhyme. But here we have two syllables, so it's a feminine end rhyme. Okay, let's sum up at this point. Our poem has masculine end rhyme, and it has feminine end rhyme. When you talk about rhyme, you usually end up with a rhyme scheme. The first rhyme sound takes the letter A to represent it. The second rhyming sound takes the letter B. The third takes C, and so on and so on. In our poem, cow is the first rhyming sound. So A represents cow and anyhow. And E1 is the second rhyming sound. So that takes B, and B is both C1 and B1. So our rhyme scheme is AB, AB. Well, now that you've heard the poem a number of times, you probably realize that there is also internal rhyme as well. In the last line, the words C and B rhyme. So that's internal rhyme. To sum up at this point, our poem has masculine end rhyme, feminine end rhyme, and also internal rhyme. The lines of poems are grouped together in stanzas. If a stanza has 2 lines, it's called a couplet. If it has 3 lines, it's called a triplet. 4 lines is called a quatrain. 5 lines is a quintet. 6 lines is a sestet. 7 lines is a septet. And 8 lines is an octave. There are longer stanzas, but these are the most common. So what is the stanza structure in the poem that we've been looking at? I never saw a purple cow, I never hope to see one, but I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Well, there are 4 lines in this one stanza, so I guess it's a quatrain. 4 lines in the stanza, a quatrain. Let's put everything together. The poem, I Never Saw a Purple Cow, has 1 quatrain. It has a rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B, and it has masculine and feminine end rhymes. It also has internal rhyme. So that's how you analyze the structure of this traditional poem. I wonder if the structure is what makes it such a nice little poem. Or is there something else? I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one.